Let's examine declining empires, specifically the US and the UK. We'll explore evidence in economic trends, global power shifts, and infrastructure. Let's start with the closure of bus stations across America. It seems mundane, but is it?
60 million Americans with an average income under $40,000 a year rely on intercity bus travel. These closures reflect a trend. Investment is shifting away from the middle class and towards the wealthy.
Ironically, foreign companies, mainly British and German, buy and repurpose these stations. Does this exemplify a global investment shift?
They see financial opportunities in catering to affluent demographics, not investing in infrastructure for wider population. People are waiting for buses on the street, exposed to the elements. They bear the brunt of this economic shift.
This might exemplify declining American influence. The war in Ukraine is a compelling case study. The US and its allies seemed confident in their predictions.
They anticipated the ruble's collapse, Russia's fall, and potential fragmentation.
The reality is different. The ruble is resilient. Russia has maneuvered economically. Was this a US miscalculation? What factors contributed?
China and India emerged as key trading partners for Russia. This symbolizes a global order realignment, suggesting the US might not wield its previous influence.
Look at the global car market. Chinese automakers lead in exports. The US, once a powerhouse, is sidelined. What does this tell us about global trade dynamics?
The war's ripple effects go beyond geography. Events in Yemen, disruptions in the Red Sea and Suez Canal contribute to rising Western inflation. Longer routes around Africa increase shipping costs, driving up consumer prices. This contributed to the recent US inflation uptick. Global events are interconnected, and declining influence has a tangible impact.
Let's shift to the UK, where record numbers of junior doctors are striking. This term might be unfamiliar. They're trainees after medical school, equivalent to US resident doctors. Why are they striking?
The UK's severe inflation eroded their real wages. Their purchasing power declined by 26%. Many struggle to make ends meet.
This links to earlier global events. Rising costs from disrupted shipping routes exacerbate the issue. The cost of living increases across the board, undeniably straining essential workers.
The UK's National Health Service, already struggling, is burdened further by strikes. Thousands of operations are postponed, creating a backlog and underscoring the fragility of social safety nets during economic uncertainty.
We see the rise of BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa coalescing into a significant economic force. What does this mean for the existing world order?
We are observing a shifting world order. The combined BRICS GDP surpasses the US and its G7 allies. This is noteworthy. Countries worldwide reassess economic alliances, looking beyond traditional Western powers for loans, investments, and trade partners, potentially reshaping the global landscape.
Saudi Arabia joining BRICS underscores this shift. A longtime US ally diversifying partnerships raises questions about the future of global alliances. What does this mean for the existing geopolitical order?
Israel's situation is interesting. It has close ties with the U.S., relying on it for security and economic support. This relationship is a cornerstone of its foreign policy.
The changing world order presents a complex dilemma for Israel. How does it navigate this?
Many of Israel's adversaries are strengthening ties with increasingly influential BRICS nations. Continued alignment with a potentially declining power like the U.S. could be a risky strategic decision for Israel.
The lack of public discourse in Israel on this is noteworthy. Does this suggest reluctance to confront changing global power dynamics?
Let's return to the U.S. with the case of Boeing, once a symbol of American industrial might, representing technological prowess and economic dominance. What has changed?
Boeing has grappled with safety issues and technical problems. The 737 MAX and a recent plane door detaching mid-flight highlight these. How have these events affected Boeing's reputation and market share?
These events cause a loss of confidence in Boeing. Airlines are diversifying, buying planes from Airbus, and potentially emerging Chinese manufacturers. This indicates the erosion of American dominance in key industries. Is this a broader decline or adapting to a more competitive global market?
We've covered a lot. The world order is in flux. Where do we go from here?
These examples, from bus stations to global conflicts to industrial giants, paint a picture of a changing world order. The decline of empires is complex and multifaceted, leaving traces in everyday life and international relations. The rise of BRICS, shifting economic alliances, and struggles of established industries point towards a new global landscape.
The war in Ukraine highlights these shifts, exposing limitations of traditional power structures and revealing new players' growing influence. Economic consequences, from rising inflation to supply chain disruptions, are felt globally. These interconnected challenges demand careful consideration.
Declining American influence is evident in the Middle East. Saudi Arabia increasingly looks to China and BRICS for partnerships. This challenges long-standing U.S. dominance in the region. How will the U.S. respond?
Israel's unwavering U.S. allegiance amidst these shifts raises questions about its long-term strategy. The lack of open dialogue in Israel adds complexity. capacity.
The decline of empires often coincides with internal challenges. The strikes by junior doctors in the United Kingdom highlight the economic pressures faced by a significant segment of the population. The strain on the National Health Service reflects broader systemic issues. This raises concerns about the long-term sustainability of social welfare systems.
The situation in the United Kingdom serves as a cautionary tale. It demonstrates the potential consequences of declining economic power and the erosion of social safety nets. We must consider the implications for other nations facing similar challenges.
The decline of empires is not a sudden event. It's a gradual process marked by subtle and dramatic shifts. The closure of bus stations across America might seem like a minor detail, however, it is indicative of a larger trend. The focus on short-term profits over long-term investments in infrastructure represents a symptom of decline. This short-sightedness can have far-reaching consequences.
The case of Boeing illustrates how declining empires can struggle to maintain their technological edge. The safety issues and technical problems plaguing Boeing are symbolic of a broader loss of competitiveness. They suggest a shift in innovation and manufacturing prowess.
The rise of Chinese and European competitors in the aviation industry further underscores this point. The changing dynamics of global trade are reshaping industries and redefining national economic power. We are witnessing a diffusion of technological expertise.
The war in Ukraine has accelerated these trends. It has forced countries to re-evaluate their alliances and seek new economic partners. This creates a more fluid and unpredictable geopolitical landscape.
The interconnectedness of the global economy means that events in one part of the world can have far-reaching consequences. The disruption of shipping routes in the Red Sea and the Suez Canal has contributed to inflationary pressures worldwide. This highlights the vulnerability of global supply chains.
These examples highlight the complex and unpredictable nature of a world in transition. As old empires decline, new power centers emerge. This creates a fluid and dynamic global landscape. The implications of these shifts are profound. They will continue to shape international relations and the global economy for years to come. How do we make sense of this evolving global order?
The war in Yemen, often overlooked in mainstream media, represents another significant piece of this puzzle. The conflict has created a volatile situation in a strategically important region. It impacts global shipping routes and adds to geopolitical instability. The involvement of external powers further complicates the situation. It underscores the interconnected nature of global conflicts. How do we address these multifaceted challenges in a constructive manner?
The economic consequences of these interconnected crises are becoming increasingly evident. Rising inflation, supply chain disruptions, and the erosion of purchasing power affect individuals and businesses worldwide. The ability of nations to navigate these challenges depends on their capacity to adapt to the changing global landscape. What strategies can nations employ to mitigate these economic risks?
The examples we have discussed highlight the complex and multifaceted nature of a changing world order. The decline of empires, while a gradual process, has tangible consequences for individuals, nations, and the global system. We must acknowledge the interconnectedness of these global challenges.
We see the impact of these shifts in everyday life. These range from the closure of bus stations in America to the rising cost of goods in the United Kingdom. The decline of empires is not a distant historical phenomenon. It is a present reality with tangible consequences.
The war in Ukraine has served as a catalyst. It has accelerated these trends and exposed the vulnerabilities of existing power structures. The rise of the BRICS nations presents both opportunities and challenges for the global community. Their growing influence will reshape the geopolitical landscape.
This changing landscape raises important questions about the future. How will nations adapt to this shifting balance of power? What new alliances and partnerships will emerge? We are entering uncharted territory.
The choices made by individual countries will shape the contours of this new world order. Israel's strategic decisions in light of these shifts will have significant implications for the region and beyond. Their actions will be closely watched.
The decline of empires is not merely a historical phenomenon. It is a process that continues to unfold in the present day with profound consequences for the future. We must learn from the past to navigate the complexities of the present.
Understanding these dynamics is essential for navigating the complexities of the 21st century. We must engage in thoughtful analysis and informed decision-making. Declining empires is not just history. It's happening now with huge consequences for the future. We need to learn from the past to handle the present.
Understanding this is key for navigating the 21st century. Thoughtful analysis and informed decisions are crucial.
The world's in constant flux. Global power dynamics are shifting, economic alliances are realigning, and technological advancements disrupt industries. These trends will keep shaping the global landscape.
American and British influence declining is a significant shift. The rise of new economic powers like the BRICS nations creates opportunities and challenges. We must adapt.
The war in Ukraine starkly reminds us of how interconnected global events are. Conflicts in one place have far-reaching consequences. The economic ramifications highlight the vulnerability of global supply chains and the importance of diversifying economic partnerships.
Internal challenges in the US and UK underscore the need for long-term investments in infrastructure and social safety nets. The closure of US bus stations and UK junior doctor strikes exemplify neglecting these areas. These issues demand our attention.
The Boeing case illustrates the challenges for established industries in a rapidly evolving global marketplace. Technological innovation and global competition are reshaping aviation, emphasizing the need for adaptability and commitment to excellence.
National choices in the coming years will determine the 21st century's course. The future of global order hangs in the balance. We must embrace this era's complexities and strive for a more just and equitable world.
This concludes our exploration of declining empires. Hopefully, these insights inform our understanding of the evolving global landscape.
Until next time, goodbye.